Welcome to Determining and Tracking Business Value, or as I like to say, BFBM, BVEP. And by the end of this talk, you'll know what I mean. So here are the topics. Agility focuses on rapidly delivering business value. So there's three things I'd like to cover. What is it? Business value, that is. How do we estimate it? And what do we do with it? So I'm Ken Pugh. I'm the Chief Consultant for Ken Pugh, Inc. I'm the author of 7 books, including Lean, Agile, Acceptance, Test-Driven Development, Better Software Through Collaboration, Pre-Factoring, Extreme Abstraction, Extreme Separation, and Extreme Readability that won the 2006 Jolt Award. And I'm the co-creator of Safe, Agile Software Engineering. I've got one principle. Every statement has an exception, except this one. And what do I mean by that? I'm going to show you how business value has been used in a lot of places. It should work in yours, but yours may be the exception. So, the first thing I'd like to talk about is a product, or if you're still doing project teams. And that consists of the 3 parts of the triad: the developer, the tester, and the customer, i.e. product owner, business analyst, who are all responsible for the quality of the product. The customer side provides the requirements and is the one who provides the business value estimates. The developer implements the requirements and provides the estimates for the implementation. And the tester, who helps validate the requirements are the right ones and helps verify that the manifestation of the application actually implements the requirements. Well, the first question is business value. What is it? Now here's a quote from a Supreme Court judge about a different thing, and they said, "I can't define it, but I know it when I see it." So I'm going to ask you, pause this video for one moment and write down what you think business value is. Well, welcome back. So what can business value be? Obviously increased revenue, sales, royalties, fees, something with dollars associated with it. Or decreased expenses because we use less resources or more efficient use of resources to produce the same output. But how about customer satisfaction? Can you put a dollar value on that? Can you say what is a dollar value of adding a promoter or getting rid of a detractor? That's an interesting question. And what's the value of staying in business? How much money is that worth? Or staying out of jail because you didn't meet the Sarbanes-Oxley regulations? How about avoiding risk? Or how about gaining information on what to build or how to build something? We've got a lot of things that have business value, but aren't necessarily measured in dollars and cents. So what we'd like to do is, instead of using dollars, as we say, that's probably often difficult to compute or measure, we'd like to use a unitless business value. And it allows us to compare between non-dollars and dollars. And we're going to assign the Fibonacci series values to these business value. And then, these points, how do we get to them? We can use triangulation. Some people also know that as the white elephant. And here we compare features to multiple other features and group like features together. Now this can be both for features or items or any other things that you're trying to get some relative value between. So how do you triangulate? Well, here are the rules of the game. First, you place all the cards in the pile, and you place the top card onto the playing surface. The next player can place the top card relative to the first card. Either it's got less value, more value, or equal value in their minds. Then, each player can play another card from the pile and put it relative to the ones on the board, move a played card because they think that there's a different value associated with it, or pass because they're happy with what they see. And we'll repeat until no more cards remain in the pile and no player wishes to move a card. You may get into an instance where at the end, two players are simply cycling between two cards. You can stop the game as well and have a discussion. So afterwards, we'll then assign points to each group of cards. So there are the rules. Let's see how this is played. We've got our pile of features. We'll take the first feature off and put it on the board. Now the second feature, B. The first player says, I don't know, is it higher, equal, or lower in business value to feature A? And puts it where they think it should be. The next player can decide to either move B, take the next card off, feature C. They go, higher, equal, it's about equal to feature B. And then we have feature D. That's definitely higher than A, but I think it's a bit higher than A, which the next player might move in feature E in between them. And you'll go on and on until, as we said, there are no more cards or nobody wants to move a card. So let's straighten up this pile. We got D, E, A, B, and feature C equal to feature B. So now we assign our business points, 20, 13, 8, and 5. Doesn't matter what values you use. You could use 200, 130, 80, and 50 if you wish. Now write that on each card. Next, we can come up with a business value chart. And as the requirement is done, the business value is achieved. So what this would look like is, as we complete each feature, we should have an increase in business value. And this should be posted on your team wall or your program group wall. And we're showing the business value that the development teams have created for the business. Always a very positive measure. Next, we have our effort points. The business value is 1/2 of the equation, but we need some sort of a time cost estimate, and we'll use effort points for that. Now, once again, they're a relative measure, just like business value, and you could use feature points or story points if you wish. So, after playing the same game, where now the developers rank things in relative effort, we'll then assign effort points to each one of the features. That's the second thing to do. Now, finally, is bang for the buck. Bang for the buck. Once we estimate our business value and our effort, we'll determine the bang for the buck. And bang for the buck is business value points divided by effort points. It's roughly a return on investment. But don't worry about the small differences, 1.3.1.4, because an estimate divided by an estimate does not make a better estimate. So let's see. Here we've got our features with business value and effort points on them. And now, 8 into 20, that's about 2.5. That's about 1.5, 1.5, 6.5, and 5. Now notice we used 200, and instead of 20, we would have come out with 25. So we come out with whole numbers. There's your bang for the buck. And let's reorganize them by bang for the buck, 6.5, 5, 2.5, and a couple of 1.5s. Now, here's our business value chart. If we've estimated the bang for the buck, the slope is roughly the bang for the buck. And that's if the effort points that you complete per iteration is constant. There you go. You can determine bang from the buck from the business value chart. So now we'd like to talk about requirement prioritization. Every requirement has a business value. Or else, why is it required? So now we need to prioritize our requirements. And one way to do so is to base it on the business value, or in particular, bang for the buck, so you'll get the most business value out as quickly as possible. Here's an alternate way of computing what requirements to do first. It's called the weighted shortest job first. And what it does is use the cost of delay. And that combines the business value, time criticality, which means, does the value decay over time? Is there a fixed deadline? Will the customer wait for us? And then the third factor is risk reduction or opportunity enablement. What else does this do for us? Does it reduce some risk? Does it open up additional opportunities? So we have three factors that go into cost of delay. And now we can estimate each one of them separately. The business value, the time criticality, and the risk reduction, opportunity enablement, and doing so by the triangulation or that white elephant technique. And now we need to combine them in order to get the cost of delay. And there's two ways you can do this. One is you simply add the three values together. The second is to put some weighting on time criticality and risk reduction. And so therefore business value comes first and the other two factors are perhaps a little less. Either way you can do that. And you then compute the weighted shortest job first by taking the cost of delay and dividing it by the effort points, where effort points is a proxy for the amount of time that it would take to do something. Well, there's one more thing I'd like to talk about before we go, is technical value. And some features or work items are technical. That means such as upgrading the database. The actual features that a user sees won't change based on upgrading the database, but for things like that, we probably want to assign some technical value points. And items that have technical value make providing business value items require less effort points. Or those items continue to help to provide business value. For example, if your database goes out of maintenance, you might not be able to provide any of that business value anymore. So technical value points. And we can estimate these just like we did business value, and it would be done by the technical people. We compute our bang for the buck, which is our technical value divided by effort points. And now we can put these items, prioritize it by bang for the buck, probably on a different queue than business value items, or you could come up with some prioritization scheme for business value and technical value items. Well, in summary, we've looked at business value. What is it? It's a measure of worth to the business. How do we measure it? The customer estimates it. And what do we do with it? We use it to determine bang for the buck. And that helps us prioritize our features to get the most business value out as quickly as possible. And finally, we're going to track it to show the growth of business value for a product or a project. Well, start becoming business valuators. And you should know by now what this means. Bang for the buck means business value divided by effort points. Thank you very much. You can contact me for more information on LinkedIn at Ken Pugh or email me at ken@kenpugh.com. Thank you, take care, and be safe.